New York City had always felt like a place where people moved too fast to notice anyone, and that suited Emily Hart just fine. At 35, she had mastered the art of slipping through her days quietly, carrying her responsibilities with a calm, determined grace. But that Tuesday evening, long after the Maddox Industries staff had emptied the building, she stayed behind once again, believing she was the only person left on the 34th floor. The hum of fluorescent lights and the soft rhythm of her typing were the only sounds. In the vast open office, she pushed through fatigue, determined to finish the mountain of reports that had been unfairly shifted onto her desk after recent layoffs. It wasn't her job, not all of it, but she couldn't afford to protest. Her 8-year-old son, her rent, and a stack of growing bills depended on her keeping this position. What Emily didn't know was that Alexander Maddox, the 40-year-old CEO and owner of the company, had returned unexpectedly. His private elevator opened quietly and he stepped out, expecting the floor to be empty as usual. He had planned to retrieve a forgotten file and leave without disrupting anyone. But as he walked toward his corner office, he paused, catching sight of a lone figure still working under a cone of white light. Emily. He had noticed her in passing before, professional, focused, polite, but tonight he saw something different. From the hallway, without intruding, he watched as she pressed her fingers to her temples. Exhaustion etched across her face. When she thought no one could see, her composure slipped. She pulled out a small stack of bills from her purse, glanced at them and whispered, "Just one more month. I can make it one more month." The strain in her voice caught Alexander off guard. It was the unchecked pressure of someone carrying more than others realized. He didn't step forward. He didn't speak. Instead, he observed carefully, noticing how she squared her shoulders and forced herself back into work mode. She wasn't just committed. She was overwhelmed, pushed into responsibilities no one else wanted to handle. She deserved support, yet all she received was silence. For the first time, Alexander saw the cracks in the system he had built. And as Emily packed up her files and turned off the desk lamp, still unaware of his presence, he understood something with absolute certainty. She wasn't invisible. She had simply gone unnoticed, and he had seen everything. Emily arrived before sunrise the next morning, hoping to get a small head start on the endless workload that had been haunting her. The office was usually quiet at that hour, a calm she relied on before the day began. She set her bag down, glanced over the unfinished files, and headed to the break room for a much-needed cup of coffee. She expected emptiness. Instead, she stopped cold when she saw Alexander Maddox standing near the counter, sleeves rolled up, pouring himself a simple black coffee, as if he were any other employee starting his day. "Good morning, Miss Hart," he said with a tone that was polite but carried an unusual weight. "Good morning, sir," she replied quickly, startled. I didn't expect anyone to be here this early." "Please," he said, "call me Alexander." She nodded, unsure of the sudden informality. Executives didn't speak casually to assistants. Not in a company this large. When he gestured toward the small table, asking, "Do you have a moment?" her pulse quickened. Was she in trouble for staying late? For overtime they hadn't approved. For the bills he might have seen. Still she sat. "I was here late last night," he began, voice steady but gentle. Emily's breath caught. Her fingers tightened around her coffee cup. He continued, "And I saw you working. The workload, the pressure." He didn't say the words she feared. "I saw you cry," but the implication hung in the air. "I was just finishing some tasks," she tried to explain. "It's been busy." "It's been impossible," he corrected, not unkindly. "Tasks meant for an entire department have been handed to you alone. That isn't dedication, it's exploitation." She looked down, embarrassed despite doing nothing wrong. "I'm doing my best," she whispered. "That's exactly why I had to intervene." He slid a folder across the table. Inside was an official promotion offer, a salary raise that made her blink twice, and authorization to rebuild a proper team around her role. Emily stared at the papers as if they might vanish. "Sir, I don't understand." Alexander's expression softened. "You've carried this company in ways no one bothered to notice. But I noticed, and I refuse to let your effort go unseen again." Her throat tightened with emotion she tried to control. "Why me?" "Because excellence doesn't hide," he said simply. "Sometimes it just needs someone to finally look." For the first time in months, Emily felt something warm break through the exhaustion. She wasn't invisible anymore, and Alexander knew he had changed something that mattered.